Hello, hello. I'm so happy that you're here with me today. I'm Leah Santa Cruz. I am a meditation teacher. I live in Bali in Indonesia, and I have been teaching meditation for well over a decade now. I noticed that as a meditation teacher, I get a lot of questions about what technique is best for XYZ, like anxiety, but a lot of times my job is not just to give the technique for that specific thing, but to help people understand like what are some of the other ways in which your life has been a little out of sync with your values, or perhaps you could be feeling anxiety because you have been saying a lot of yeses when you really mean nos. And what's that doing to your nervous system? So it's not just about the reactive, like, let me put a band-aid on it with this technique, but rather, like, let's be proactive and look at some of the areas in which your life could be improved by removing some of those triggers and things that are causing the anxiety to begin with. So I used anxiety as an example, but it's for many other things. And that's why we're here today, because one of the areas that I feel is like so detrimental to our mental health, and probably something that you are struggling with, which is why you're here today with me. It's something I've struggled with tremendously over the years, is our problematic usage of screen time. Now, we can't completely eliminate screens from our life. It's not even realistic to do that in this world. But what we can do is look at, like, where am I spending too much time on screens, where it is causing me to not be focused, to not sleep well, to feel agitated, to not be present for my life. And so we're going to jump right in. And I just want to start with setting an intention. Take a moment, you can close your eyes or just feel into, what do I want to feel more of in my daily life? What do I want to feel more of in my daily life? Is it focused or calm, present, joyful? Maybe all of these. And then ask yourself, what kind of relationship do I want to have with my attention? Do I want to be in control of my attention? Or just pulled into everything um, without having any real sense of intention? So let's take a deep breath in and begin. All right, so digital overload. Why is it so hard for us to focus? Why are we as adults spending over 7 hours a day on screens? I mean, that's like the reported average, right? I was finding myself spending like 6.5 hours sometimes on my screens on my phones when I'd look at the report on my iPhone, and I didn't like that because it meant that I wasn't spending that time with my son, who's 4 years old, and growing up way too fast. If you're a parent, you can relate to that. Or with my husband, or in the projects that I'm doing every day. And why am I spending so much time on social media, or paying attention to the news, or scrolling and watching random funny animal videos? Like, yeah, it can be entertaining, but it's really preventing me from living the life that I want to be and being the person that I want to be at times. So I want to share a couple stats with you. In 2018, there was a study from Alberta, Canada. It said that 2-year-olds are watching about 2.5 hours of TV per day. That is way over the Pediatric Association's recommendation of 1 hour a day, which even I think is a little bit high. And that 3-year-olds are watching up to 3.5 hours a day, which is madness. Kids 8 to 12 reported average screen times about 5.5 hours a day. And adolescents, which are kids anywhere from 10 to 18 years old, up to 7.5 hours per day. Wow, that is like right on par with what adults are doing, but at a very, very pivotal time in our development of our brains. And we just cannot handle that and actually expect to go into the world and be mentally stable and mentally well and emotionally regulated. So there is a cost cognitively for all of us with constant screen exposure. It doesn't matter how old you are. The the cost is worse the younger you are, but us as adults, we are not safe from this. There's something called electronic screen syndrome. It's a term coined by Victoria Dunkley, who's an expert in screen time behavior and research. She's written books about this. ESS, electronic screen syndrome. It is essentially when your brain is overstimulated by excessive screen usage and it dysregulates your nervous system. That's in a snapshot, but what that looks like in everyday life is we have a decreased attention span. We have difficulty regulating our mood. Our behaviors are more erratic. We have more anxiety. We feel overstimulated. We feel fatigued mentally. We have trouble sleeping. How many people do you know that struggle sleeping? What about yourself even? Probably your sleep could be improved. Many times we find ESS is mirroring many mental health disorders like OCD or ADHD, even some other psychotic symptoms that mirrors it. And if you already have a pre-existing condition of like anxiety or depression or ADHD, it's only going to exacerbate it so much worse, especially if you are a neurodivergent individual. This just takes it to a whole other level of extreme. We have to be so careful and mindful about the screen usage if we are a neurodivergent person, anyone really, but especially in those communities, because our brains just cannot handle it the same way. We get way too overstimulated, and it can make matters so much worse for us to feel like our lives are manageable. So I really recommend look into these researchers, Jonathan Haidt and Victoria Dunkley. Jonathan Haidt wrote the book Anxious Generation, and Victoria Dunkley wrote a book called Reset Your Child's Brain. Both of those are great if you have kids or if you're younger, but also there's other books like iMinds, which are really helpful. But I'm going to send out a PDF after this video that you can access, and I'm going to write down all this information there so you don't have to worry about it. But please look into those guys because they're leading global movements to help people recognize what are the detrimental effects and how do we counter it and reset our brains. So one of the things that they talk about is screen exposure rewires our brains for distraction, not for presence, especially social media and news apps. Not all screen time is created equal. Social media and news apps create dopamine loops in our brain. So it's meant to release dopamine when you see that cute little cat playing, or when you see that person jumping off a bike and landing it. Whatever you're seeing and consuming on social media, the likes, the views, the reels, all that, it's meant to release that feel-good hormone in your brain so that you keep coming back for more. And the algorithm gets really smart to know which things release more dopamine for you because you're spending more time watching those. And so it's going to keep feeding you more and more of that. So we're training our algorithms, whether we like it or not, to feed us more and more of the things that are sucking us in. And that's leading to hyper arousal in our brains, unfortunately, and to situations like ESS. So here's a question for you. What app or what digital habits tend to hijack your focus the most? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook, TikTok, checking your email 30 times a day? Something else? Maybe it's multiple things. So really start to pay attention to like, where am I spending my time when I'm on my phone or on my screens? What are the things that are pulling me in? And then how does it feel? You can even tune into this with your eyes closed for a moment. Just imagine you've been scrolling for 30 minutes on a news app or on social media. How does it feel in your body? Do you feel a little deflated, a little numb? Do you feel a little heavy? Maybe there's some irritation or numbness, sadness, feeling like not enough. Maybe there's some comparison that you've been doing. Maybe you're feeling a little scattered, unfocused. Just notice. And now let's take a breath. Let that go. and ask yourself, what does presence feel like in my body? Like when I'm really present for something I'm passionate about or connected to someone, what does that feel like in my body? Mhm. Maybe you feel lightness. Maybe you feel warmth, spaciousness in your mind, or like effervescent joy, feeling in flow, feeling really focused, really connected. Notice the difference in your body. And when was the last time that you felt this way? Like really deeply focused. Let's take another deep breath in and let it go. Come on back. So I want to give you a few simple habit shifts that you can do. These are like little strategies to help you limit your screen time. You don't have to do all of them. Maybe you just start with one that's simple for you, one that sounds good, or you could do a few. But here we go. So one would be leave your phone in another room for certain hours of your day. You could start with 30 minutes, work your way up to an hour and 2 hours a day. Leave your phone in another room and notice what impulses and urges come up because you're going to have some subtle withdrawal symptoms. Maybe you feel agitated or you feel just unwell because you don't have that thing to turn to prevent you from feeling what's been really going on underneath. Or maybe you're just feeling bored. So just notice those feelings and be with them for as long as you can. That's your job to help rewire the brain and body. Another one is checking only on your laptop during pre-scheduled windows, like only checking those apps, maybe news or social media or email during pre-scheduled windows on your laptop. Maybe it's like 20 minutes a day, twice a day. I thought this was a really bold move when I was working in corporate America, and I found that some people would have auto responders saying, I only check my emails 2 times a day during these windows, and if you don't hear back from me for a while, it's because of that. And I thought, wow, that's pretty bold. But I realized now that they were really protecting their presence and their mental health, and I think that is inspiring. So you can do that too, even if you work in corporate world. No joke. All right, here's another one. Set a no phone zone in your home, or maybe it's an activity that's a known phone activity, like meal times, or in your bathroom. I know a lot of people bring phones to the bathroom, or at bedtime, or at times when you're moving your body. Maybe you're doing yoga or something else, moving your body. Have no phones, unless, of course, you're watching like a class or a course, but nothing that's going to be pulling you in and distracting you during that time. And then have some screen-free wake up and bedtime rituals. So that might be journaling or walking your dog or prayer, or I really like dancing and putting on some music that I like, or maybe it's meditation, of course. But not having your screen for that little time to have that ritual is really nice when you wake up and when you close the night out. Silencing your notifications. This totally changed my life. Um, well, it did. It changed my whole world by just not having those sounds on my phone anymore that were pulling my attention constantly. So you can silence your notifications really easily in your phone settings, or even just bundle them. There's a bundling feature where, let's say you have Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp, and it sends you tons of different pings of notifications. You can have it bundled so it's just one big one, and then you can expand it if you want. But do yourself a favor and just silence them, because tech companies are using sounds that they know, scientifically, they know are like biological triggers for us that cause us to go, huh, and perk our attention. Kind of like when your ancestors were walking in a forest, and they heard a little twig snap, they would perk their attention and look at it. This is similar to the sounds that they're using in phones to really pull your attention. It's like you can't even ignore it, because it's just evolutionary there. It's going to happen. So don't let those noises interrupt your flow. Also, something I've been doing recently is using a grayscale mode on my phone. So you can go into settings and change it so all the colorful apps and everything you normally see gets changed to like gray, or like maybe mine looks beige, yellowish beige. And suddenly it's like there's no dopamine driven engagement there. Like I'm not pulled into the color of my social media app, or the color of this, Duolingo, whatever it is that normally would just pull me in that moment. Like now I can go into my phone with the intention of like, oh, I want to do this thing, and I'll go on my phone, open it up, and go straight there without being distracted by the other things that are also trying to pull my attention in that moment. So try it out. It's a little weird at first, but I swear this has helped me so much, and I think it's going to help you. You can also try the one tab only challenge while you're working, or when you're like browsing on your phone or laptop. Just have one tab only, not 20, not 50, just one. See if you can do it. Little things like this are gonna like challenge us to rewire our brains. If you want to do some bigger shifts, those are some little ones I gave you, but some bigger shifts are like do a digital fast. Maybe every week or every month or every quarter, you do a digital fast for 24 to 48 hours where like there's just no screens, no TV, no phones. You just have some activities that you're doing, or spend some time with friends, make it a little mini retreat. Um, and maybe you're just by yourself reading some books and fasting from that. You're going to notice again those urges and sensations come up, like the little withdrawal symptoms. And this is a good sign. It means that like you're rewiring something. You can start to see the effects that it has on you. I did this recently and I couldn't believe how long the day felt. I was like, boredom really kicked in. And but that's good. We need to have some of that boredom. Like that's what helps us stimulate our creativity and open our minds. It's not good that we're constantly always distracted to the point where we never feel boredom. So invite some of that back in, do a digital fast. The other thing I've been doing recently in Bali is I started something called the Offline Club to create a little community accountability, with some other parents in my community that also want to have better digital habits. So we just meet up like once every couple months, and we share some things on WhatsApp, like articles written about screen time usage to help each other, or books, or activities that we can do, or just even sharing like each other's best practices to just create like a conversation that keeps it top of mind and gives some accountability to say, I'm not in this alone. There's other people also working on this, and it gives me the courage and to do it myself. So see if you can talk to some people in your life. Maybe it's a friend or your partner or a community you can create around this, to start having these conversations and set that accountability for yourself so you can do it together. Also, you want to look at what are your trigger apps? Like what are the apps we talked about earlier that are really pulling you in? You might want to use an app like Screen Time or One Sec, to block, or what they tend to do is like create a little gate for you. So, for example, I used One Sec, and every time I try to go on Instagram, it would make me breathe for 30 seconds before I go on there. So they can either block you, or they can either slow you down, and then ask you, do you really want to go on this app? And that might just be enough for you in that moment to go, actually, I don't really need it. It's a little too much of a bother. Um, and so using these things can be annoying, but it's also really helpful to bridge that gap to like lessen your screen time usage. If you're just automatically on autopilot going on those apps in every down moment, you might want to download one of these to help gateway yourself and limit that. Also removing social media news apps from your phone is ultimately the step that I had to do, because I found that just trying to limit myself, like it was still a struggle. I got to be honest. Like it was much easier for me once I actually just took the move to just remove it from my phone. And that something I thought about doing for months before I actually did it, because there was all this like fear about missing out, maybe a little FOMO, like that would come up and go, what if someone messages me and it's important and I need to see it? But ultimately I just bit the bullet and I did it, and I felt so much relief, guys. I can't even tell you. It was like this huge weight lifted off of me to be able to actually just go and check it on my laptop a couple times a week instead. Um, and if you have a business that requires you to be on social media and you don't want to, maybe you have a VA or a personal assistant that can check it for you so that there's no pertinent business communications coming through, and then just send it to you like over text or something if there's an important question coming in so that you can respond to it right away. But that's going to free you up from having to be constantly checking it yourself and constantly getting sucked into doom scrolling. So get some support to help you if you really need to, if it's for business. Otherwise, like just remove it from your phone, guys. Like just take the step and check it on your laptop. You still have access to it, but you're not going to be sucked in all hours of the day. So that's kind of like the bigger shifts, but here's like if you want to take it to the whole other level, let's say you want to go completely offline. You're like, I'm done. That's it. I'm over this. There's this great website called abstinence.org. It's an app, as in phone app, abstinence.org, and it's created by these Gen Zers. They designed this like 5D method basically to help you start to eliminate your online presence. It's called decrease, deactivate, delete, downgrade, and depart. So 5 steps. The first one, decrease. Make a list of the people who are important to you, friends, family, anybody that you care to actually be talking to. Tell them that you're changing your lifestyle habits and you're going to start moving more offline and start to text you or call you instead of messaging you through social media. And then delete those apps from your smartphone. Only use your browser to check them. Unfollow all non-essential accounts and turn off your non-essential notifications. Do this for a few weeks. Again, when it comes to the algorithm, unfollow the accounts that are not important to you because that algorithm is being trained. When you look at something like a video of anything, it's going to say, oh, he or she's watching this for a couple seconds, 30 seconds. So they must like this. We're going to give more of this to her or him. And so you want to really check that you're not training your algorithm the wrong way. So start to remove some of those non-essential accounts, like unfollow a bunch of people that you don't need to be following, retrain your algorithm, and then just remove it from your smartphone too as a step. The deactivate step is where you'll temporarily deactivate your accounts just one by one. Just start with the app that you feel like you're using the least. So you make it easier for yourself. And then the social media apps gives you like a 30-day deactivation period before your account is deleted. And so you're just gonna probably be spending that time on other apps. It might not feel like much is changing in terms of your overall screen usage, but the whole point is to reduce the negative stimulus gradually and to make this more painless and just help you as much as possible. So deactivating still gives you a 30-day window. And in the delete step, it happens on its own. You don't have to do anything. It's going to be deleted after 30 days. And you can just spend that time strengthening all your connections in the real world because you can't just like get offline. You need to actually fill in the gaps with other activities. Like, what are you reclaiming in your life? Is it going to the gym more, exercising, yoga, meditation, calling your family, hanging out with your friends in person, or reading more books that you've had on your list but haven't gotten to? What are the hobbies and things that you have been saying you want to do, but you haven't gotten around to? Like, this is the time that you're getting back for you to actually be the person you want to be and live the life you want to lead. So live a little more slowly. And then the 4th step is the downgrade step. So this is where people like to switch to a flip phone or a transition phone, they call it. So it's like not a traditional smartphone, but smarter than a dumb phone, basically. There's lots of them out there. One of them that I purchased that I like is the Cat S22 Flip. It's an Android. It's pretty cheap. It's super rugged. It's really clunky. It kind of looks like it belongs in a construction zone, but it allows me to download just like the apps that I really need, like a banking app or Uber or WhatsApp. And the screen is pretty small, so it's not fun to look at social media apps and be on them on that phone. And it's not easy to be like typing long chapters on that phone. So it really just makes it so it's only the essential communication that you're really doing on that phone. And so 95% of the time you can be doing everything on that phone. And then the other 5% of the time when you need your smartphone for like a really good photo or making a mobile deposit or scanning a QR code, you could do that. You could just have that phone turned off and open it when you need it. So a lot of people do that. They have the two phones just to limit the distractions of the smartphone. Um, and then the final step would be depart. Depart from online um, social media. It might be several weeks or months in or over a year from when you started the journey, and that's pretty normal that it's going to take time to get to this point. But maybe, in a year, a couple of years from now, you're like, I'm ready to do this. So just taking little steps now helps you get there along the way. Um, and then you'll find at some point you're like moving a little slower, you're feeling more connected, you're feeling less anxious, or you're just feeling better. I noticed that for myself when I took social media off my phone. Like I just started to feel a lot better. It's been a few months now, and I'm feeling like I don't want it back. So, um, let's jump into some practices that you can do for helping to reboot your focus. I've given you lots of tips now. I want to just jump into an actual practice. So find a seat or lie down in a way that feels comfortable for you. And then invite a deep breath in and release. Another deep inhale and let it go. And take this moment to just come home to yourself, to arrive in this moment right here. It's like arriving at your final destination after a long journey. You're holding heavy bags, and now you get to drop all those bags. Some of them are future worries, some of them are past regrets, some of them are your to-do list. And so we're going to drop those bags in 3, 2, 1. Feel your shoulders fall away from your ears. Feel that sense of relief and arriving here in this moment right now. Notice as your body softens, you release any tension you've been holding. And you notice your breath moving in and out. It's been flowing this whole time. The breath is always flowing in from outside your body, into the nostrils, the mouth, flowing down the throat, filling the lungs, and back out again. And the breath flows not just through the lungs and mouth, but also through the whole body, through all the channels and rivers, all those oxygen and life force particles flowing through every vein of the body. And notice the sensations of your body. Maybe you notice some areas that feel a little numb today, or an area that feels tense. Can you welcome a little bit of breath there, a little spaciousness to release that tension, to awaken that part? Checking in with what mood or moods are present in your body today. And just being with whatever is here, not judging it, not trying to change it in any way. Also noticing what thoughts are passing through your brain. Welcome the flow of thoughts without any judgment, without trying to change or resist it. We return to feeling anchored in our breath. And so as you continue to breathe, you might say out loud or repeat silently, or just think as you breathe. I breathe in, I arrive. I breathe out, I am here. I breathe in, I arrive. I breathe out, I am here. And do that a few more times. And we'll end the practice today with the affirmation, my attention belongs to me. I choose where it goes. My attention belongs to me. I choose where it goes. Take one last deep breath in and release it. When you're ready to, you can open your eyes, come back into this space. So you might journal or reflect on today after this call. What is one screen habit or small shift that I can make this week that I'm going to commit to? I'm giving you so many options. Maybe there's more for you, but really, what is it that I can commit to? And then what is one sort of analog activity or quality of life that I want to reclaim for myself? Maybe it is walking, maybe it is exercise, or maybe it is reading or drawing or art. What is it that you can reclaim during that time that you're getting back for you? This is your chance to create the life that you want, to be the architect of the life that you want. And it starts with removing the things that are eating up your time. Because you want to learn long attention again. Spend a couple hours doing that thing. It's not just about 5 minutes, but like do 20, 30, 40, 1 to 2 hours and really rebuild those pathways of your capacity to spend a lot of time paying attention to something that's not a screen. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. I just wanted to note that there was questions in the chat about how to share this with a partner, how to share this with a partner without forcing it on them. Such a good question. I really think it comes down to creating empowered requests of people. So it's better that we, instead of pointing out the problematic behavior, start to focus on what is it that we want to create with them. Maybe it's just asking to say, hey, I'd love to have 20 minutes a day or a week, if it's your partner, I'd say a day, where we can just be with each other, having a conversation without phones involved, or doing an activity on date night or something without phones. Or I would love to spend more time in presence with you. I noticed that we're often connected to our screens. It's something that I want to do for myself. I've noticed I've had struggled to not be on screens and to be more present. And I would really love to be held accountable for it. And I would love for us to do it together. Is it something that you'd be open to doing? So make it a team effort. Make it about being accountability partners for each other. Ask them if they're willing to call you out and have you call them out. Like, find out what is their willingness at some point. Maybe it's just a small little step they're willing to take with you. Make it about let's do this together versus like you are the problem. Like I see you doing this thing. Because honestly, for being honest, we probably have our own um, um, bad habits with social media and digital usage as well. So um, make it about like, let's help each other instead of trying to like point the blame and the finger and make empowered requests of like, what is it that I want to create with them? And if we focus more on that, on the positive of what we want to create versus the negative, it's people are less likely to be defensive and more likely to cooperate and help you and see that for themselves and find that inner motivation to be inspired by what you're trying to do and the connection that you're trying to create. Because where our energy flows, our attention goes. So let's focus on the positive with people. That's a great question. Thank you. And I know there's some other apps out there, as mentioned in the chat about smart smart apps that are going to help you to block and reroute your usage. So let's say like you have Instagram on your phone and you only want to do it certain hours of the day and you want to be blocked from doing it other hours, the app can actually block you. And so you only have certain windows of time that you can be on those apps, which is really helpful for folks who use social media for business. Like myself, like there's lots of people who can't just delete the apps. They need to use it for their business. So, but maybe we don't want to be using it all hours of the day for doom scrolling. We just want to be using it during specific times for specific things to help us with our business. So thank you. That was a really good point that there's some great apps out there. And I'm going to include all this in a PDF that I'm going to send out. So if you want access to that, you can reach out to me, Leah at leahsantacruz.com, or you can reach out to me on Instagram, although I'm not checking it often, but I will get back to you. And you can certainly email is helpful or reach out. I'm going to send this out in the next 48 hours to those who were on the workshop or registered live, and you can come back anytime you need a little bit more support in this area because it's something that a conversation we need to be having with ourselves, with our friends, with our communities. Let's all do this together because we all need the support, myself included. All right, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful day. Cheers.